thank you for coming today in such early morning. I think this is nice weather outside. Hope you didn't waste your time here. All right, so I think most of you are students, right? And I really appreciate all those parents or teachers also joining today. I totally understand what you're feeling about. And okay, so I hope you have some insight or understanding about our program today. So let's start the information center. All right, so first of all, I have to introduce the place. Now you're sitting in the School of Design JCIT building, which was designed by the famous architect Zaha Hadid. This is I've seen another signature buildings for PolyU, and this is the nice environment here. And I am Mental U, the program foundation year leader, year one. So yeah, that's something I have better understanding on the program since launch 2 years ago. So the first question is, why are you still here? So there's a lot of other program school that acquiring students every year, and I think you might interest something in design, right? I think probably a rough understanding about what design is. But first of all, I want you guys to know about yourself more. So I believe the best learning approach is driven by the motivations. So I am from the local school. I totally understand something about the local education approach, and I do suffer a bit, but enjoy something when I was in student age. So first of all, have you ever questioned or met some student that was quite different? That means sometimes will be challenged by their classmates. Most of the time will be challenged by their teachers. Yes, I kind of one of this kind of people, this kind of students. I keen on questions instead of accepting knowledge. Of course, there's a lot of drawbacks, of course. But if you have this kind of traits, probably the different learning approach, you should know more. And design is one of the knowledge or program that's quite different from other faculty, other programs. So if you are the children when you're kids full of creative ideas and always being blamed by the others saying that you are naughty, naughty students, and full of creative ideas, and would like to try different things. You are not settled about the existing norm. You want to ask why not here, why not here, why not this, why not that, and you're happy to solve problems. So I know problems just like answering some questions. I think most of us will not like an examination. Solving the problems is like answering the questions. But in design, answering the question, solving the problems actually is from different aspects. It's not meant to be in certain domain. You probably interest or need to know about different knowledge to solve a typical problem or so-called a big problem. And you need to be strongly curious about everything happening in your life. People overlooking something probably really interest you and move you, touch you. That is something we call it different. Just like you are more emotional compared to the others. You're easily touched, easily happy, easily sad. I think this kind of feeling, and about the curiosity, that means you really want to know the answer right away. It's not, this is something not in my interest. I would rather focus in what I'm interested in. I think this is some kind of, you are focusing, I focus on the knowledge you learn, but if you are curious enough, probably you're eager to find out every questions in your mind. Even the questions seem seemingly trivial and seems not really nonsense. And I think that is quite, I will perceive this traits really common. You will understand that we learned something about art and design, some basic skills. Then the next step is approaching the deeper or further study on design and art. I think this is still true, but that is not limited to this. But if you got some skills, visual skills and handcraft experience, that will definitely benefit a bit when you're preparing the portfolio. But it's not about everything, just part of the criteria that you have some advantage. And we designer, even the so-called artists or the cultural workers, are actually quite interested on the social issues. If you are people that really like to participate in the activity in the community, be dragged by a lot of social problems, you always want to solve it, you have that kind of passion. I think design is some area that really can fulfill your vision. And after the program finished, every subject we emphasize about the critical thinking. Critical thinking means that I have crazy idea. I want to actualize it, realize it. This is based on the skills, but our focus is about the passion. Why you are doing this? What is the beauty of the work that you're trying to do? I think that is about the critical thinking. The value, the meaning, a lot of questions will helping you to come up with some big idea, good idea, of course, the good design. And last but not least, design is something, I would say, the asset or the skills that you learned that will help you to set up your own company. Compared to other skills, you probably rely on some big organization, you are part of the department. But design, our training is quite holistic, comprehensive, start from the business side, community side, and the marketing side, of course the design, prototyping, making, and of course marketing. So these are all the through the line training actually helping the designer be more easy or more eager to set up their company. So that is something that's a new trend about nowadays. Technology changed the world. And some interesting findings, some interesting statistics we found these years is a lot of new tech company, new startup company, the unicorn company we say, actually a lot of the founder actually are designer. So it's quite surprised, right? We used to think we are more focusing on art and craft and aesthetic side, but in fact, more and more designers now stand up and lead the role, lead the team, set up company, actually changing the world. Just like the latest news is, of course, the Airbnb, the global ex-global van. Global van is a local company, and you probably know that. And the latest news about the United States statistic. One of the brand called Canva. Anyone know what is Canva? Right? You're probably using for your school project, right? So the founder from Australia actually is like most valuable female founder in the world. That is something quite, I would say, exciting. we designer no longer just like copy with other or just like helping the team. We're leading the team. So this is something quite emphasized even on the university treasury educations. We are not just not like a school in a big machine. We are trying to change the perception about our role. All right, that is about design and about you. If you are interested, I guess, actually you're sitting here, I think you are compared to the others applicant, I think you spend more effort. I think you really show some interest here. But why PolyU? Why PolyU Design? We have the longest history in Hong Kong. We are the top-notch design school in Asia. And the ranking is not means anything, but we just use it as the index. We are ranked top 20 design school in the world among thousands and something design school. And in recent year we are fluctuating in 15 to 20 between these numbers. I think actually it's quite good. We getting better and better. And we know that students have struggles when they are choosing their future program, future study program, and they know what is design, but if you have to choose different domain, just like E&I, and environment and interior design, or even the graphic design, communication design, a lot of different areas seems like dragging you when you're trying to apply here. So I think this is quite common because you know less about other domains, just like newly introduced service design, you never met, right? You never had a chance to know more. And product design and what is the interactive design, a lot of different terminology and change, and then you need some time to digest, and you don't have that much of a time to know more. We try to integrate all different domain, different specialism knowledge in the foundation year. So you come first, you don't worry about your future yet, at least you know something related to design, you are interested, that is, here's the place for you. And the new curriculum have different 4-year approach if you want to find out your truly interest, truly specialism, specialism within these 4 years. So you can have a chance to know bit by bit. So no need to force yourself. And we have 9 specialism, and I will introduce later. And medium of instruction is English, of course. Every university in Hong Kong is the same. And this is the top 20 design school in the world. We count that even the youngest top 20 design school compared to long history, Parsons, RCA, we are the youngest, but we still managed to fit into this top 20 ranking. And the local international faculty ratio is 4:6. So 6 international professors and 4 local professors. I am the local one. And the building, I mentioned that. Network, something about the regional advantage, geographical advantage. We are located the Pearl River Delta, and we always mention that the Bay Area. So that is the advantage. We have a lot of chance to connect with the upcoming China corporate and a lot of traditional international brand organization keen on find some opportunity here in Hong Kong. So we still got this advantage, even some bad times in recent years, but we still got this advantage compared to the other Asia region. And this is something really, I think, attracting the students. We have the exchange program, and we now emphasize 100% exchange international experience in the coming years. That means throughout these 4 years, any reason, just like the exchange, internship, or even the study trip, every student needs to explore the world. So in the exchange program, that you will have 1 semester exchange in other university over the world. And as I said, the springboard means why PolyU University? Because we are trying to get a lot of resources to help to build the confidence, to help equip the knowledge for the student, for the graduate to set up their own company. So, not about just the course, it's something about the physical financial support, and just like the funding, and a lot of the mentorship programs helping to graduate. If you are ambitious enough, you have more reason, more confidence to set up your company. And there's a lot of case out there. And real clients, we emphasize and work in education, experience. That means not something about the knowledge, theoretical thing in school. You need to apply the learnings with the real clients projects. A lot of service learning, also work with the different organization in the community, and of course the business organization. Yeah, and the service learning means this is about university study. We learn more, we call that humanistic. So we spend a lot of resources from the society. So what we can give return to the community, that is something we emphasize. So this is the reason why PolyU. And the learning, traditional studio learning, we learn in our classroom. You would call it classroom, but why we emphasize this? But there is some kind of difference compared to other programs. We need more space, we need more workstations. So this is something extra resources supported by the university. You will have your own studio, own desk, and every year to do the class and do the work, prototyping, modeling, drawing, have your own station. And that is not only in school, you need to go outside, explore the world, learn with the client, visiting, and research, study trip, different kind of outdoor learning activity. And this facility, that is the biggest, one of its kind material library in Hong Kong, supported by the Connection company. That is something really helps students to understand more about the new materials, new technology applying to their design. And we also collaborate with other faculty. That means we're not using the facility here in School of Design. We're also using the industrial center, even more advanced state-of-the-art machine is welcome or open to all design students. There is some support. All right, as I said, if you even not only in design, you're probably interested in other programs. So I know that is something really hard to make a decision. So that's why we start from the foundation year, design foundation. Every student come here to learn. And why we change such integrated approach is because the new design trend is no longer focusing on your domain knowledge, That means if you are interior designer, you must have some sense of communication design, graphic design sense. Because once you have 2D materials in your work, you have that kind of sense. That is in design area. Even compared to when you work with other area, just like the marketing, or even the material science thing. I think this kind of knowledge actually is quite important. We are not that kind of knowledge that means you study in science or physics, you're just focusing on one area. If you're mathematics or topology, that is really focusing on one area. So design is quite different. We encourage students not limit themselves to certain area. The case is like we have a student finish the year 1. She was trying to focusing on communication design. But after she finished the program, the year 1 course, she tastes the satisfaction of making something up, the tangible modeling something. And that's the new experience to her. And she said, that is something really intrigued me compared to something I know in graphic design. And my advice to her is, whatever areas should not be the limitation of your choice. You can open yourself. Once you learn something that really you found interest, I think that is the best motivation for learning in the coming years. And it doesn't mean that you need to forget everything about graphic design. You still have a chance to sit in the elective class to know more or something about really, if you are still interested in that. So no limitation to yourself is our focus. But having said that, we have limited time in this 4 year. Once when it comes to specialism, you can start and you can treat it as the starting point. We also need some time to focusing on the domain knowledge. That means focusing on the specialism gradually on the year 2. Year 2 means we call it cluster year. Cluster year means the programs are like we put together, just like product and experience design. We're talking about the ergonomics, user experience. Actually, it's quite similar to the interaction design, but one is more on digital side, one is more on the actual physical work. But we put them together to learn something, and then when they move on to the year 3 and year 4, now they have a chance to settle on one literal area to finish their bachelor degree. But it's not limited, as I said. Even in year 4, we have different kind of final project. We still encourage them to work together. But just we need some, at least we need some mechanism to assess the students' learning outcome. That means we still need some specialism program in year 3 and year 4. All right, so don't worry, you have lots of opportunity to taste different area, and you can decide it later, in short. In year 1, of course, that is about design basics. Every design student need to learn some color theory, form language, and 2D design principle, visualization, how you define the happy form, happy color, happy shape. That is called the visualization, and see everything. Design studio is the first thing. Now you have a chance to focusing on making or designing with your classmate, with your fellow classmate in a group. You can learn from peers. And the best thing is you have your workstation. You have a lot of chance. You don't need to move in around and waste your time. And of course, design emphasize learning by doing. So when you have a chance to do things together, you can learn from each other, learn harder. So that is, we call it studio course, studio subject. Common basics, that is skill set thing. You learn how to draw, how to model making, prototyping, and the creative thinking. Creative thinking means, yes, your specialism you will learn in the later year, but first of all, you need to be get used to some kind of different way of solving problems. So that is really hard, and I guess I mostly in charge of freshman students. I think that is the biggest challenge for students, not answering the right questions. Always, what is the right answer? Because we are focusing on the question part. Why these questions matters, and then look into the answers. I think that is we call creative thinking. That's why we call think outside the box. But you know where's the box, and then you know where's the limitation of this box, and then you can break it through. And design process. This is something we also emphasize. Design is not something I have an idea in your mind, in our mind, and then you just buy some materials and put it on. That's it. That is not calling the design process. That's the creation process, but the design process actually involves a lot of different stages. And every stage we question on the reasoning. Alright, so in year 2, communication design, environment design, product experience, and service design. So this is something I mentioned earlier. And what we learn or focus the learning in year 2 is another design studio. Now you get more design studio, design course, and know more about the materials and research. As I said, design emphasize on the whole process. Research is one of the most important stage. And the last stage is about the presentation. Every big idea need to tell a good story and present it nicely. So presentations are the important skills. That's why many designers can lead the team, because they are keen on good storytelling skills and like to do it. And coupled with the new trend, AI, and interdisciplinary collaborations, I explained this earlier. So every cluster, in short, you will have a chance to know more about the 2D visual communication thing, and more marketing things, branding things, and some motion picture making, video making, and all this content making. I mean, this is on the communication design area. So in year 2, you have some 1 or 2 little subject to taste everything about that. Just slightly taste it. You know that, are you really interested in that, or are you have some kind of strength in these 3 communication cluster subject? So then we have more confidence or more sense about your strength. And environment and interior design. So all about public space, private space, recreational space, institutional space, and some kind of event planning and space and user and structure. Actually, this is a little bit advanced foundation knowledge in year 2, but it's all related to environment design and interior design. It's not architecture design. We will have another program, I think, a few years later. Product experience. Yes, you still remember the case I mentioned earlier, the girls. After making something out, really satisfying, really happy, and something about prototyping, modeling, form, and marketing, user experience, materials, and also focusing on the sustainability. And I think most easy understanding is the homeware, foodware, toys, all this kind of content will be introduced in the cluster year. Service design, this is the new cluster, new program, relatively new, and we focusing on the community and some kind of co-creation thing. That means more focusing on how you participating in the community, in the user, and short out the best solution for some existing programs. And this kind of study approach also applying a lot of new commercial organization, but it's a little bit top-down approach. I have some goal to meet, but we use this service design approach. We go into the community and observe and invite them to do the design together. It's not another traditional way of design a professional doing something for you. We are doing something with you together. About the aging society, quite obvious, and about something about the poverty or underprivileged community, we work into their life and then live with them together and get more in-depth understanding about their truly needs. It's not the obvious superficial problems. That is different kind of design approach, not emphasizing on the aesthetic, form, beauty, not that sense. So, about the system, social engagement, service, typology. So this is the introduction about year 2. All right, so hopefully after the year 2, you have more sense about every specialism. Even in the interest cluster, you have more narrow down your future study path a bit in year 3 and year 4. So 9 specialism, they are advertising design, information design, media design in communication sector, communication cluster. Environmental interior design in E&I, that's good. And PED, product interaction, service and social. Service design is not something about waiter, waitress. I mean, this term is quite misleading and really turn off. But actually, it's I would say globalized. We use this term a lot, so we might as well don't want to make some new terms about this service design. All right, year 3 and year 4 is more about the professional specialism knowledge. So you have some kind of rules or conduct or some even deeper practice on the real client project and a lot of advice from the professionals outside the school and within school's professor. And service learning, that is for all university students, all PolyU students, not only for SD. But as I said, we emphasize on how you serve the community and give something in return to the community. And cooperative project, in year 4, they have a heavyweight subject called cooperative project. Actually, different specialism students put together to serve the client outside. They're knocking our door. Probably there's a big corporation or even some kind of organization, NGO. We work with the client together within 9 weeks. Quite heavy, but students learn a lot in this project. It's really close to the real world situations. Internship, that is mandatory in the WIE Work in Education program. So every student need to find a job before they graduate in year 3. So you have some kind of experience before you step into the real society to get a new job after graduate. So this is some good experience how to seeking job and how to work better once you're ready to work in the real world. Entrepreneurship, I mentioned that we are just like emphasizing on this because we actually have a lot of new startup already. So from subject, from financial support, from the advice, from the professional community, we help students to set up their business easily. And integrated capstone, as I mentioned, we invite different specialism student group as a group team to work with the client. So this is some example. And integrated capstone, this is some word I mentioned. So that means not focusing on specialism. 3 or 4 specialisms work together for the project, just like the reading habits, apps for the society, for the farmer, and for the SEN students. What is the this is something the student have the concern alike topic, and then they work together, propose and work together. That's quite different. We used to have our own the capstone project with the student own effort, do it individually, but this is not something I would say fit into the future trend. So we emphasize or help them to together. So get used to those teamwork, and you have a bigger impact about your design outcome. Unusual, integrated capstone or the traditional individual work capstone will be shown in the last stage of your study, the unusual. So we just finished this unusual 1-minute teaser video. Alright, so this is the work treated in the 1-minute teaser video, but actually contains all capstone projects from different specialisms. So I hopefully students here don't underestimate your ability, your potential. Every student after graduating will actually equip quite well before getting into the real world design industry. And about the employers, the big corporate and the local corporate, local company, you may actually you name it, lots of good employer or inspirational brand. I think that is some reason for you guys, for the designers to study here. And the alumni, we just finished our alumni exhibition a few months ago, and this some of them here, just like I think the work you've probably seen that, and this is something done by our SD alumni. All right, so I will quickly go through these admission tips since we have more admission strategy in detail in the afternoon sections, but you can have a glance about what you should focusing on when you're preparing the portfolio. So first of all, well organized. So don't just give us a few sheet of sketch drawing, and then just like, actually, we really don't care about that. I mean, there is some kind of observation the students are, they really pay attention to the portfolio, or just give a try randomly, casually. I think that's something you need to organize for. And I guess you have your SBA project or in personal interest project. That's different thing. How you organize this work. I think SBA is one of the guidelines that helping you to explain your work. But of course, you don't need to give a full report of your SBA. If you have different projects, we want to show how you organize that. And we want to know about your capability and skills. And are you willing to try different things? So you only do the sketch and get all those paintings when you learn in the art studio outside the school, and then they quite, I would say, quite bored. I'm not sure that is your interest or not. And state your work means focus on answering why you're doing this, why you think the work is good. Don't just describe it. I use the watercolor to draw this nice boat and outside the cycle piers. I think that's something we're not looking for. And focus, diversify. Diversity is something different, actually echo to the different approach, different way of thinking, different way of making. Different way of making also will be shown in this diversity of the works. Probably you make a video, you draw something, you actually alter some model making work when you have your leisure time. And of course, enjoyable to watch, and just like nicely presented and easily the view. And say, for example, if you have a video, you can embed your QR code or link, clickable link, workable link, for the viewer to be easier to view your work, because the viewer have limited time to work and to build your portfolio. And last but not least, this is quite important, because everyone will have similar SBA. If you are studying SBA, I think 90%, 80% of the applicants are design students. They do that similar approach, right? Of course, they show some good or bad compared to all works. But the visual diary is something we can know more about the student, the individual personality, right? So what you're curious, what you're liking, you can put anything randomly in your visual diary. That is something really you interest your interviewer a lot. Actually, it's quite important. And another point to mention about visual diary is you cannot do this within 1 or 2 days. You need to constantly do it as a habit throughout 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. When you accumulate all those little pieces of thoughts, drawing, that will be a more enjoyable when reading this visual diary. And of course, show your passion a lot. So, and other part is the interview. About the portfolio making advice, you can use this link, or even check our website. We have the video to explain more. And once you are selected in the portfolio reviewing section, you will be invited to the interview. The interview will be 15 minutes to 20 minutes conversation. We want to know more about your presentation, communication skills, language skills. It's not the most important thing, but if you have better language, verbal communication skills, actually have a lot. That means some students not really outperform others in the portfolio, but once they come to one-on-one conversation, they have a lot of foundation to explain more. And through the conversation, we know about your design passions, communication skills, enthusiastic sense, or even your daily habits. I really checking, are you really curious about anything happening in your life, or you just don't want what to study, just casually study taking design. I think we want to know more about this. And every details we put in our website, you can check that anytime. So this is about the timeline. Junior student. I will not explain this. I think all students you know this better than I do, right? Yes. Later this month, you have to submit your choice list, wish list, and then after your DSA exam, a few weeks later, early or mid-June, and you will need to submit the portfolio online, and we will selecting the interview from this portfolio. And interview will be early August, and result will be announced 1 week or two after, right after the interview is done. So everybody will be settled before mid-August. So this is the timeline about these DSC students. And anyone here is not a DSC student? Okay, so this is about the non-Jew applicants. Quite different from the DSC student. So end of September to early February is the submission. You can submit your portfolio anytime. We'll be checking, we get enough portfolio, we invite you for the interview. And then this is the first one, we call the early one. And the second one will be in March and April. And after all interview is done, I think the announcement will be early May, late April to early May, right? So this is the non-Junior students because they have different schedule of exam. Okay, and this is some information, more information about today's content. Any questions? Any questions? Your heart, no time to ask. All right. So thank you. That's it for today.